In this video, I want to talk about how to get more from Jamboard. All right, now just so you know, I was writing that with my phone, not with my laptop. My laptop isn't touchscreen, so I would have to use my mouse. And that's one of the complaints I hear from teachers. Well, the students don't have touchscreen, so I just don't use Jamboard. Another complaint that I hear is that, Jamboard is just so basic. And other things, well, I've never used Jamboard. I use Google Slides, or, I have other things like Active Inspire that do more. And I just kind of want to address some of these things because there are legitimate weaknesses to Jamboard, but it's a lot better than most people think it is. So let's go ahead and get started. The first thing is Jamboard is basically just a digital replacement of your physical whiteboard. This is something that every classroom teacher uses regularly. Well, Jamboard is the same thing. It's meant to be used creatively. It's meant to be versatile. When you look at the tools, you can say, okay, well, you've got your pen, your marker, your highlighter, and a paintbrush, and some basic colors. Well, for most whiteboards, that's exactly the same kind of thing that you have. And I'm sure there's somebody watching going, no, I'm the teacher that got the 50 color expo markers, and that's cool if you do. But for most teachers, they have a basic set of markers that they use all year long, no problem. An eraser, it's got a pointer, sticky notes. You can put pictures on here just like you would either with tape or with a magnet to your whiteboard. You can insert shapes, you can type text in, and the little laser pointer can grab attention to stuff. But what people don't realize is because Google Jamboard is so simple, it's actually deceptively simple. If you wonder how I did that, this is just an image of a white screen that I can use to hide answers. So I could put a question up here, hide the answer, and then move it aside. That's something you might not have thought about doing with Jamboard. The other thing is typing out the words. Oh, I don't have drop shadow. Well, I don't have drop shadow here either. It might look like I do, but all I did was I wrote the text in blue, I copied it, changed it to black, and then just did a slight offset to it. And now I have a drop shadow. There we go. So just like with a regular whiteboard, if you're creative, you can do all kinds of stuff. I have a lot of teachers going, you still haven't won me over. So let's keep going. One of the things that's really useful about Jamboard is it saves all your files, all your Jamboard files to Google Drive. So just like you share any other document with your student, like through Google Classroom, you can do the same thing. So where they can view the file, that they all can edit the same one that you're working up on the board in front of the classroom with, or you can make a copy for each student. But unfortunately, going back to like the first slide, it's just a whiteboard. What are we going to do with this? Well, one of the biggest things that we can do is we can really start having fun. We can do things like insert images and sticky notes, and images include animated GIFs or GIFs, however you prefer to say it. But you can do little animations like this. I wouldn't do too many because they can get overwhelming, but just a little bit to add life. And with the sticky notes, students can add their own comments and that sort of thing to really feel like they're a part of whatever you're presenting. But probably the most useful thing is setting backgrounds. By default, you have white, but then you can also choose some of their presets. And the last one is my favorite because you can upload an image. And so this is an image that I made with a clock and a little happy field background. And I came over here to images and I chose the arrows and I created my arrows. So now I could have students come up to the board and I can say, all right, change the time to noon. And they can turn the clock and put it where it goes. Or as the teacher, I can say, all right, everybody on your paper or over to the side, write what time it is now. So just a fun little interactive activity. Didn't take long to make. I could use this over and over again. Really good to use with the class. Here's another one for a slightly older grade level, the know, want to know, and learn. You can have students either put in sticky notes, and they could do something like, Chris, I learned da 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 da. And so now I can move this to either I know, or I learned, or I want to know. One of the things that Google added a while back that teachers were asking for, and it's really useful, is if, say, a student didn't put their name, you can come up here to More Actions and see revision history just like you do in Google Slides or Google Docs. And then you can see all of the changes, all the updates that have been made. So that's really useful when you're having a lot of students edit one Google slide. You can also do things like maps. And I can come in here and say, okay, draw the river systems. So I may choose marker, highlighter, and go blue and go, all right, so we've got like the PD and the Broad River. And again, I'm probably not dead on, so any social studies teachers, please forgive me. Okay, got the Savannah River. So I could draw that out, or maybe I could say, all right, do the different regions. And I could say, okay, well, we've got the Low Country, and here we go, it was the PD. And maybe I don't want a marker. Maybe I wanted a highlighter or a paintbrush. Probably paintbrush would color it in a whole lot better. And I know a lot of people are like, well, that's horrible coloring. Well, if you're teaching coloring, if you're an art teacher, yeah, you may want to ask for more detail. But if I'm the teacher going, do you know which regions are the PD, the Low Country, the Midlands, the Upstate? I don't have to have perfect coloring. I just need to know that they've got the information. So I could do this with any number of maps as my background. So how do we get these backgrounds and stuff? So I've got I call them slides. Google, the official name is frame. If you wanted to add a frame, so I've got a little note to myself to add a math background. I'm actually going to be sharing this Google Slides presentation. So I'm going to come down here. Notice I've got some health things, some English stuff, some timelines. By the way, things like timelines and hierarchy and pyramids and stuff like that, all I did to get those was go to Insert and Diagram, find the diagram I want to use on the Google Jamboard, and I can insert it in and then just take out whatever words and stuff I don't want. So that's useful. There's the base for the clock that I had in the back before. The reason I've left them white, though, is so that teachers could adjust it to fit what they want. So you could add text if you wanted to, or I could insert other images. I could do all kinds of stuff, but with the background, a lot of times I'll just go to change background, and maybe I give it a solid color, especially something like math. That'd be useful. I'm going to say done, and then I'm going to go to my file, and I'm going to download JPEG. Now that I have this, I can go back to my Jamboard, and I'm going to set my background. I'm going to upload an image. I'm just going to upload. I didn't add it to Google Drive or anything. I could do an image search to see if anything's already out there. But I'm going to take the one that I just made, and I'm going to insert it in here. So now I can come to my phone, tablet, interactive whiteboard, whatever, and I could say 24 squared times x equals 17. And then I can have the student solve underneath it. I could have them graph out whatever it is. And then I could just go clear frame, and now I'm ready for the next problem, the next equation. But wrapping up, there are some good things and some bad things about Google Jamboard. The good things, it's easy to use. It's very versatile. This is not something that is just for math teachers or science teachers. You can use this for any class. And most importantly, it's easy to share and collaborate with students. So unlike other kinds of whiteboard software you might be used to, you don't have to have student accounts for this outside of their Google account. You don't have to have them download anything special. It works across platforms. It's really useful. So a lot of good stuff with it. There are some limitations. You can only have 20 slides or frames. So if you're a teacher who likes to do like a Google slideshow with the entire unit, 75 slides, you will have to break it up. You can't do hyperlinks. You can copy and paste links, and then students can copy and paste into their browsers, but it's a little bit of a hassle. And this doesn't have those advanced features. If you're used to programs like ActiveInspire or Smart Notebook, this is not going to have the same benefits of, hey, I could click on this word and a sound plays, or I get a good job. This doesn't have those features. So if you're looking for that kind of thing, you may want to go to something that's a little bit more geared to instant feedback. But for basic demonstration of work, writing on the board for your students, having your students respond and write back, there are so many things that you can do. I hope I've dispelled the myth that Google Jamboard is just an overly simplified whiteboard. There's so many things that you can do with it. It's great to use with your students. And if you have any questions, please leave them in the comments below. And thank you so much for watching.